Now, now with that being said, right now with creating your schedule, I want to talk about how to properly format a schedule and how to start setting that up for success here. So here's what I would recommend is using Google Calendar. Okay. So Google Calendar, if you don't like having a physical calendar. All right. So on Zoom, what do you guys tell me in the chat box? What do you guys prefer, Google Calendar or physical? I already know Julianne likes her physical planner. Carol, do you like it having it physical or perfect? How about you? All right. Okay, perfect.
Physical.
Okay, perfect.
Physical.
Exactly.
And you put it in your phone.
Yeah. So I would actually recommend having a physical planner or a physical schedule because here's the reason why. Because I do both as well, right? You guys will see on my desk right here, I have like this big old calendar. So I am the calendar man. Like that is how I'm known by my family because if it's not in my calendar, I won't do it. Right. Like I just tell, yeah, they're just like, oh, Mr. Calendar Man's here. Right. Cause they, family wants to just like, oh, just come over. I'm like, no, I got stuff I'm doing. Right. Like I'm building something. Right. So it's and you gotta be strict with your schedule because what's our most precious, most valuable asset? It's our time. Because we don't get that back. And time runs off really fast, right? Like you say you want to do something, then you notice how like in the morning you're like, all right, I'm gonna do all these things and then next thing you know, you're like, oh crap, the day's almost over. All right, I got to push this to tomorrow, and we don't get more of that time back. So I have like a big calendar here for the office. There's a calendar there that's outdated, right? And then on my in my living or in my dining room, I have like it's literally called a big ass calendar, right? That's the name of it. You can look it up and buy one, and it has the whole year, and literally like everything's planned out. We have a calendar on our refrigerator for like that current week, and it just helps you get more done, and it also helps you stay on track with your goals and all those different things. So it's important to have your goals. Now, here's why I recommend having the physical calendars is because we are desensitized by notifications and alerts. How many times a day are you just swiping away alerts and not even looking at them anymore? Right? You're just like notification, get rid of it, get off my screen, right? And there's some important notifications, and you're like, oh, that's my credit card bill. Nope. All right, swipe it away, right? Like, right. So hey man, we all do it, right? So so that's why I'm not a big fan of you just sticking to a Google Calendar or just doing something on your phone because it's just we get so many notifications that we don't actually take it as serious. Right. Now, when you have that physical calendar with you, it helps out a ton. Now, for the things that are reoccurring, that always happen. So if you're a student and you go to school, I think it's good to have in your Google Calendar, right? If you're communicating with other people, maybe you're a leader, right? Like I think about like Carol, you have your festival that you're doing and you're coordinating with a lot of different minds. I think it's good to have a calendar that everybody can like look at and everybody can utilize. But yeah, so just kind of figure it out for what works best for you. So I'm going to show you guys an example of my Google Calendar and how I kind of start to build it. Now, here's the other perk about using Google Calendar is you can add multiple calendars on there. So I want this to be kind of like a interaction type of part of the meeting where we're all going to work on this together and get systematized. So for example, you guys can see all the calendars I have here, right? This is our office calendar. So these are all the things that are happening in our office. I'm not necessarily running all these things, but this is what's happening, right? Then I have like my assistants calendars, right? So like the people that I pay to help me out with like work and stuff like that. Then I even have like a family Google Calendar for all the things that are going in the family. And then we have like this is what I'm personally doing in my schedule as well. So when you do it like this, it looks really insane and it looks really overwhelming. But then when you start to break it down, I just need to be aware of a lot of these things that are happening. But here's what I'm actually doing on like a daily basis. And then all this white space, this is where I have like my free time or I have time to help you guys out and do different things right there. Right. But you want to just kind of get to a system because that's how you create consistency. Right. So consistency doesn't come for just like waking up and operating your day based off of feelings. Right. Operating your life off of feelings and emotions is not going to be a very productive life, right? It's not going to, you're not going to get a lot done. So you got to have some logics that you go based off of and some sort of consistency. And especially, I talk about this now, Jordan, with having a job like this where it's like, oh, I can make calls. It doesn't make a difference if I make my calls at 8 a.m. or at 6 p.m. Right? It doesn't matter if I do an appointment at this day or this day, right? But it does matter because it starts to mess you up mentally and psychologically, right? Because then you start cutting corners, right? And if you cut enough corners, guess what you make? A circle, right? And then now you're just running around in this big old loop. So here's what I want everybody to do on either your Google Calendar or your physical calendar. I want you to plan out all the things that you know for sure you have to do. So plan out all the stuff that you know for sure you have to do. And we're just going to focus on the next 3 days. All right. Just focus on the next 3 days. And then those of you guys that are here in the office, I also have physical planners. Would you like one of these, Murray?
Sure.
All right. So you can pass those back. And the reason why I wanted to do this week is we have what's happening this weekend. Super Bowl, right? So now, am I going to tell you you need to work on Super Bowl? I don't know. I don't know what your goals are, right? But here's what I will say is, how do you do both? How can you make the day productive as well as enjoy it and have fun with all your friends and family?
Well, you also plan to like put appointments from morning to like afternoon and then have the rest of them.
Exactly. Perfect. So Genesis nailed it, right? So she was like, you can have appointments in the morning and the afternoon, right? Because how long is the Super Bowl? Yeah, right. But let's just for most people, it's a whole event, right? So it's like once you get to your Super Bowl party, you're not gonna work after that. Let's just be honest, right? But you want to plan for that, right? So some of you guys that have been working with me, right? Like I, go on trips and stuff, and it's part of the plan. I don't just like wake up one day and like, I'm going to Mexico, right? No, like we plan for it, right? And if you plan for it and change your plan accordingly, then you can have guilt-free fun. But if you're just like, oh, like spur of the moment, like, hey, I probably should have made calls right now, but I'm not gonna do it because I'm gonna go to the movies. Well, then now while you're doing the movies, you're like, crap, I have no appointments ahead of me. And like it's harder to enjoy it, at least for me. Like when I know there's something I should have done and I try to go have enjoyment, I feel like, I should have did what I needed to do first. All right. So go ahead and plan out the next 3 days. And here's how you should plan things. Put all the stuff that you have to do in first. So what that looks like is, Carly goes to school. So put all your class schedules, your homework time, put that into your calendar. Then, some of you guys have other part-time jobs. Some of you guys have kids or a family, Monez, right? You have some priorities right there. So plan for that. Others of you guys have a doctor's appointment or something that you need to put into your schedule.
Ooh, what's something to do? I'm not going. What's that? Somebody should take their knives to the Super Bowl party and whoever's hosting it,
Yeah.
do a little demo with them.
Yeah. Say I like the way you guys think. All right. So go ahead and put those things into your schedule. I'm gonna play some music while you guys are getting it dialed in, and let's just get planned out through Monday. And then in the chat box here, post done once you're all done with that. What's up, Emily, Steven? Let's get your cameras on when you get a chance. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Okay, and then as you get all the things that you absolutely have to do, then start putting the things that you want to do. Okay, so then start putting all the things that you want to do this weekend. So, like for example, me and my wife are gonna do a date night, right? Then there's gonna be the Super Bowl, and then et cetera, et cetera. Maybe you're gonna go somewhere with your friends and all that good stuff. All right. So go ahead and get that all in there. And right now, what I'm teaching you guys is how to work on your own time. All right. So I'm teaching you guys how to work on your own time. The average job, you are working on someone else's time, right? They tell you when to be here and they tell you how much you're worth, right? And you guys are way more valuable than that. And I want to teach you how to maximize it. All right. All right. And then if you're in here with me, just give me a thumbs up when you have a pretty clear plan of this weekend for yourself. Good. So now the next thing you're going to do is start to put in your Cutco time. So, Brent, quick question. Brent. Oh, okay. I need his expertise. But I believe for every hour of phone calls, you should be planning on scheduling 3 to 4 appointments. Okay. So for every hour of phone time, you should be able to schedule 3 to 4 appointments. So what you want to figure out is like, okay, how many appointments do I want to do this weekend? Right? How many appointments do I want to do this weekend or by Monday night? Right? And the reason why I put the team meetings on Thursday nights specifically is to impact the rest of your week. All right? Because unfortunately, I also can see when you guys make your phone calls, and guess when most of the phone calls happen? At the team meetings, right? So I know. So like, right, for example, tonight, this is going to be one of your phone sessions, right? So you already know we're going to have at least 30 to 40 minutes of phoning right here at the team meeting, right? So make sure the team meeting's in your schedule for Thursdays, right? So that's when you're going to make some phone calls, right? Then when are you going to make your next set of phone calls? And then when are you going to do these appointments, right? When are you going to do these appointments? So if I'm like, okay, well, John, I want to do 7 appointments this weekend. Maybe that's 2 on Friday, 3 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday, and then you do 1 or 2 on Monday. Right. So what you'll need to do is you'll probably need to do a phone jam tomorrow as well. And I would recommend doing it at Champs Club at 8 a.m. Now, if you're just like, John, it's impossible for me to wake up at 8 a.m. All right. Nothing's impossible. All right. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Nothing's impossible. But you're like, okay, well, plan a time when you're going to do it on your own. Right. And then honor that time and put your phone time into your schedule. Do it right now. All right. Do it right now. Put when are you going to make phone calls and give yourself an hour of time. Give yourself an hour of time. Because also, what some of you guys probably are starting to notice as you're not calling friends and family anymore, you need to make more calls, right? So it's not like your first weekend where you're like, oh, if I made 5 calls and I scheduled 4 appointments. No, it's going to be typically like 10 to 1. Every 10 phone calls you make, you'll probably schedule 1. All right. So those are decent averages. Some of you guys have higher averages than that. That's great. All right. So so plan out an hour of phoning for tomorrow, for Friday. And then plan for an hour of phoning over the weekend. So here's something that I think is really underestimated is your weekend phone calls. I, as a representative, used to love making calls on the weekends because I got a hold of everybody that I couldn't get a hold of throughout the week. Right. That like so it's just like it's just another opportunity to scoop up some last minute appointments. And more specifically, I loved Saturday mornings. I love Saturday mornings because most people aren't too lazy on a Saturday morning. And I want you guys to realize sleeping in to the average working person on a Saturday is like 6, 7 a.m. That's sleeping in. Right. Like my mom, when she sleeps in, she's up at 6 because she's normally waking up at 4 a.m. throughout the normal work week. Right. My dad never sleeps in. He's always up early because he's a freak of nature. Right. So making your phone calls at 9 a.m. on a Saturday is gonna be perfect. Right. That's when most people are just sitting around, grabbing their cup of coffee, starting some yard work and whatnot. All right. So I would definitely put a Saturday morning phone time in there. And even if you're not a morning person, just make your phone calls and then go back to sleep. That's how valuable that slot is. All right. And then that way you can impact your demos and typically whenever you make your phone calls, you're impacting the next day's demos. So later on tonight in the team meeting, I'm going to teach you guys a lot of all my tricks and tips on getting lots of recommendations, getting a ton of people to call. And one of the things I'm going to teach you guys is how to schedule same day appointments. It's actually really easy to do, and they don't cancel on you because you literally just got off the phone with them. All right. Nice. I loved it. I love it. All right. Cool. So now here's what I want you guys to do. All right. Let's see who is actually paying attention and participating right now. Text me a picture of your weekend schedule. All right. Send it to me on WhatsApp or send it to Brent, whoever your manager is. Jordan, it's good to see you. Jordan Lilly. We got 2 Jordans on here. Jordan Chan, it's always a pleasure to see you. All right. To me and Angel. Send it to your coaching chat. Yeah, send it to your coaching chat. All right. So I'll give everybody a couple minutes to finish up any fine tuning. And then also with your schedule, let me know how many appointments you wanna shoot for this weekend. And like what your goal is, not what you think you'll be able to do, but like what your actual goal is, right? Because maybe you're telling yourself, like, I think I only can do like 3 or 4, but you really want to do 7 or 8, right? Text me what your goal is, because that's what I'm committed to trying to help everybody out is hit their goals this weekend. Okay, cool. And then now, here's something simple. All right. So here's something simple everybody can do right this second. So get off of TikTok. All right. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Here's what everybody can do now. What's up, Corey?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good, good. So everybody post in the chat box on Zoom something that you're grateful for. And then we're gonna go around the room real quick. So Julianne, we'll start with you. Something that you're grateful for.
Have a normal husband, baby, Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper. Nice. All right, cool. Marie, what are you grateful for today?
Because, uh, being able to get up and go and do the things that I need to do.
Yeah, right. Awesome, awesome. What are you grateful for, Genesis?
Bye.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Carol, what are you grateful for?
Water.
Water.
I need more of that.
Yeah, less Dr. Pepper, more
I
water.
drink Dr. Pepper like I should drink water.
All right, cool. All right, Miss Coomer, what are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful for positive feedback from coworkers.
Yes, sweet. You guys, Angel just ran her first section of training today. So give her a round of applause on that. All right. Learning how to be a boss woman. I love it. Brent, what are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful that I got free tickets to an orchestra concert tomorrow. So
Nice.
Orchestra. Nice.
yeah, so
Awesome.
that, but
I see in the chat box here lots of gratitude towards friends and family, grateful for cousins coming down to visit, grateful for the opportunity to get good education, family. Awesome. All right. Some of you guys haven't posted in the chat box. I see you. Post.
Brown's grateful for room service. He texted me.
Mr. Brown's living the life, man. I love it. All right. Brent is grateful for Angel. Sweet. Angel's awesome. All right. Emily's grateful for her mama. And then same with Steven, grateful for his parents. Cool. So yeah, I'm grateful for the opportunity to interact with cool people. All of you guys are pretty cool. All right. So you guys, it's always great learning more from you guys. And more specifically, this kind of ties in with like the opportunity of the job, because I was talking with some of my veteran representatives that have been working here for a while, and it was kind of cool. Mute yourself, Mr. Or who's Monez? Mute yourself. All right.
I'm muting myself.
Okay. But last week, I took all of our CSPs on a golf trip, and we went golfing, and it was on. I know, more CPO. You gotta sell more CPO. All right. But and Evan Keller came down, and it was kind of funny because Evan asked them. He was like, "So, how much are you guys gonna sell this year?" And Daniel Reeder was like, he's like, I need to make $300,000 in income this year. And then Austin Robinson, he's like, I'm gonna make $200,000 in income this year. And I was just thinking about that. I was like, all right, we're here golfing on a Tuesday, and these guys are just talking about how much money they're gonna make, which makes me think about like this opportunity as a whole, because it's an opportunity where you don't have any cap on your commissions. I don't know if you guys ever think about that. Sometimes like we're so worried about the minutia of like I just need to get an appointment that you're not even thinking about like how big the opportunity could be, where you get to literally like imagine if I handed you a check and I was just like write your earnings amount right there on that check and you can go get it. So I was just like, man, that's pretty cool that these guys like they can just say that, right? And I think it's a really cool opportunity. And I also think about the flexibility part of the job, where it's like we're just on a random Tuesday and everybody on the golf course is just like older people that are clearly retired, and we're the youngest people like out there. So it's just like it's a really cool opportunity. And I guess like as a manager, I realize I don't talk enough about the opportunity. I'm always trying to teach you guys like how to do the job better and all those things, but it's a pretty cool company. And then what was really cool, Julianne literally just told me something cool that happened with her with the company. She is okay if I share your mistake. So Julianne wasn't paying attention on an order, and she messed it up and she sent it to the wrong address.
That I no longer have process too.
Yeah. And however, she called the company and she kind of explained what happened. And she was like super apologetic. She was like, yeah, I'll pay what I need to pay. And the company was just like, I see you've just started working with us. We'll take care of it for you. And they didn't charge her anything. They sent out a new order to her customer. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Right. So it's like we have a really cool opportunity in front of us because most companies wouldn't do that. You know, like most companies would write up Julianne with like a pink slip and it's like, hey, that's your first strike. You messed it up. And I think we have a cool opportunity in front of us. So I wanna help more of you guys, take advantage of the opportunity that, I was given here 12 years ago and what I've built with it. And I want to help more people do that. Angel, a lot of people look up to you. All right, I just want you to know, like I've been talking to people and like they're literally Antonia in our training class, she was like, you mentioned that girl that got an opportunity and she was like, I live in Temecula. You said there's no office there. How do I do what she does? And like people just think it's really cool. So I just wanted to appreciate our opportunity that we have in front of us. And with that being said, I've been doing a lot of thinking. Right. You guys will see my slides right here on the side. And I'm always thinking a little bit better. So this was our old mission statement on like when I built the office and we kind of built to where we got to based off of this mission. And then I started thinking more in depth with it. Right. So you guys are kind of getting a little peek into how my mind works. It's always just working on things. Right. So then it came to this and I was like, that's too much. And then, it's narrowing down, but it's a work in process. Right. And this is really important. And here's what I want you guys to write down in your notes or on your journal. What's my mission? What's my mission here with Cutco? And the reason why I work so hard on this is what excites me, is when I'm building something with incredible people. This is what makes me work as hard as I do on a daily basis. This is what makes me show up every week for a team meeting and give you guys my energy and give you my best. Is what we're building right now. So our mission right now for this year 2024 is to be the #1 office in the country, and we got to do this by having relentless collaboration, unwavering grit, and a hunger for exceeding expectations through the mastery of our product, customer connections, and a shared fire in our hearts. And we leave the competition. We will leave the competition in the dust. No, you don't need to write this down. I'm just sharing it with you. But I want you to think what your mission is, right? But we're gonna leave our competition in the dust. Every call, every meeting, every interaction will be a testament to our dedication, propelling us to victory together. And remember, this is not just about numbers. It's about growth. It's about supporting each other and bringing a silver cup home to the Inland Empire. Let's freaking go. All right. So a silver cup is a national championship trophy. So that you get that when you're the #1 office out of every single office in the company. And it was kind of weird. Like I've hit a lot of goals here in Cutco, and that's kind of like the last one. So just like be #1.
Is it a big one, like the one that?
Yeah, it's exactly. So imagine having one of those here in the office,
Put it
right?
right there.
Yeah, I would wipe off all these other trophies and it'll just be the silver cup right there. Right. So yeah, so that's kind of like the mission that I kind of came up with. And this has like kind of been in my head for at least like 2 months now. Like it's kind of been a work in progress. Yeah,
You gonna keep the silver cup?
of course. Yeah. And
Well,
then
sometimes it's like a silver cup that you gotta pass around.
no, you get to keep this one. So
Like the Stanley Cup.
no, yeah. Yeah.
Just that is the belt.
Yeah, that's the belt that we still don't have. Anyways, we'll yeah, what belt? All right. So this has been on my mind a lot. Is just like, what is our team gonna be about? And even my assistant managers know, like I've been thinking about this probably since September, October, we're just kind of figure out like what we want to build on, and these are the pillars. These are the new updated pillars. So collaboration. So this is you guys utilizing each other. I love that Brent mentioned that he's thankful for Angel, right? And I'm thankful for Angel to be able to help Brent. And I'm thankful for, Carol to be able to, be working with Angel. I'm thankful for Julianne to be helping other people out on our team and things like that. So collaboration is really important, because one thing I also want to say is like my way isn't always the right way for you. Right? There's a lot of people here. So not everybody thinks like me, and you don't need to be like me, but I want to help you be the best you that you can be. Now, this is the big one, is exceeding expectations. And I want you guys to exceed your expectations first. Don't worry about my expectations of you. Don't worry about anyone else's. But first, it's like we got to help you exceed your expectations, which some of you guys have. You guys have done more things than you didn't even know you were possible of doing. Right? Some of you guys are like, man, I never thought in a million years I'd be with a sales company doing a sales job, or, selling as much as I've sold. Right? It's kind of crazy. Right? So exceeding expectations. And then, even for me, I want to exceed expectations that our region manager has for our office and for me. Right? Like a lot of people, they know we're a good office, but they don't think we're the best office. And that kind of pisses me off. So it's like I want to prove people wrong. And then how to exceed expectations, you need to have grit. Does everybody know what grit is? This is the fight that you have in you. Right? This is the fight that you have in you. This is when challenges get in the way and where you still make the harder decision. Right? Where it's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to drive to the office, or I don't want to make phone calls. I don't feel like doing XYZ. Or maybe it's like your tire pops and you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna cancel that appointment. Or you know what, like I've done this before where I was like, you know what, AAA, can you drop me off at this address, because that's where my next appointment is, and then go sell a signature set and then figure out how to fix my car afterwards. Right? So it's just like that's grit. Right? That's where the champions find a way mentality comes from. Also grit is like, working on yourself, right? Which leads to growth, right? Getting 1% better every single day, right? And it's like, what are you doing outside of this to work on yourself, to help yourself get better? Right? I love Angel telling me like she just got a gym membership for her and her son, right? And they're holding each other accountable towards that. I love seeing Brent at the gym every morning, and he's getting his gains and he's working on himself. Austin Robinson forces me to come to the gym with him every morning and get in 30-degree water and on a cold plunge, and me almost dying every single time. But then once I warm up, I feel unstoppable. Right? So that's what like grit and growth are. So that's the focus that that we're working towards as we go towards our mission of $2 million for this year. So I just wanted to open up the meeting with that. I wanted to help you guys with some time management stuff. Wanted to kind of share where my mind's at for our organization and where we're building. And the reason why I share my goals and what the focuses are for our organization here is, I think it's important for you guys to know, because I couldn't imagine working for somebody that didn't even know what they wanted. Right? Or somebody that wasn't motivated to do their job, or they're just going through the motions. So I'm always here for you guys. And, the reason I ask more out of you guys is because you guys push me to do better as well. So it's a mutual relationship. I help you guys help me, and all that good stuff right there. So with that being said, I want to give everybody some time to make some calls. All right. So it's 7:40. We're going to make calls until 8:15. All right. So we're going to make calls until 8:15. And then from 8:15 on, we're going to go through all the ABCs of building customers, getting recommendations, and I'm going to teach you guys how to absolutely crush things. Okay. Some quick little announcements. We have blue super shares. Nobody won the contest of painting their face blue and selling. You had your face painted blue? Or
So my friend told me the day of at 9, and I was like, I wish you would have said something sooner, because I swear we both could have gotten free scissors, like it'd been done.
yeah,
I would have went halfies and I would have gotten that, like it'd been done. But he
nice.
told me at like 9 o'clock. Screw it. I'm like, "You're not sending the link right now." And I'm gonna call you on call.
My Monday demo, she was like, do I have to do a demo if I already know what I want? I really just, I don't have the 45 minutes, like, I just wanna, like, I just need this, and I was like, okay. And I was like, I'm not even paint my face blue, and then having told me that, so I did it.
Hey, it's still
So I put
it's,
the order in,
it's still
but
what
I
it counted, but your hair's blue. Your hair's blue. So
My ears are blue right now too from.
oh yeah. Turning into a Smurf.
Like I murdered a Smurf in the shower.
All right. So here's what we're gonna do. All right. So I know. So I'm gonna have two separate contests. I'm gonna have a contest on here for the Zoomies. All right. So all you Zoom people, every time you guys book a demo, post it in the chat box. All right. And then make sure it's in your Vector Impact app. That's how I'm gonna confirm it. But you're gonna post boom 1, boom 2 in the chat box. Okay. Now, here's what I'm raffling off for my Zoom people. You're gonna get lunch, Korean barbecue. All right. So Korean barbecue. All right. So that is your contest. So if you're in Redlands and you win it, you're gonna go to Korean barbecue with Brento. If you're in my office, you'll go to Korean barbecue with me. And then and here's how you get entered into that raffle. You got to get at least 2 appointments. All right, you got to get at least 2 appointments right now. All right, now for those of you guys that are here in person, all right, you got to get at least 2. You guys are gonna get some cash money. Okay, so I'm gonna raffle off some cash right now. It's actually not cash. I don't have any cash on me, but a Venmo transfer or a Cash App transfer or a Zelle. But the cash sounds better. All right. So so you guys are gonna get some cash money in a raffle. All right. So I don't know. What seems like a good amount of cash to give out. I don't know. I'll think about the amount, but it's over $20. All right.
$1,000.
So here's what we're gonna do. Line up how many people you're gonna call. So here's how you get into this raffle. 2. So you can either get 2 demos or you can make 20 calls. Okay. So 2 demos or 20 calls. Just make sure you're using the Vector Impact app. There's a dial pad in there. You can call people straight from the app, all that good stuff. And I'll be able to see it on my end. And that's how you're going to get into the raffle. All right. But ready, set, go. Let me not take any more time for you. We're going to go until about 8:15, 8:20. All right. Talk to you guys soon. And then if you're here in the office, there's 2 offices that are available right there. I'm gonna turn down this music.
I was like, maybe I left it in the room, and then I see somebody just like throw it out on the table and I'm like, hey. You're sleeping.
Emotion that I was feeling when I was asking for referrals. And really when I everything started to turn was when I was like, oh, this is just what people do. As human beings, we're always telling people about other products, whether it's good or bad. Right? Like, who do you tell when you have a sucky product? You tell your friends, you're like, dude, I just had the worst product in the history of the universe. All right. What do you do when you have a bad experience? You tell the people that are closest to you, do not go to that Mexican food place. You will get food poisoning. Right. And guess what? Your friends listen. They're like, all right, I trust you. But then we do the same thing when we have something that's phenomenal. Right. We want to tell everybody about it. Guess what? When you're going to the Super Bowl party, someone's going to bring an amazing dish to that party. And guess what? Everyone's going to talk about, hey, did you have the Philly cheesesteaks over there? Right. Those are bomb. Right. Did you try that? So that's just human nature, right? You just got to understand people will recommend, especially if it's a phenomenal experience, which leads you back to this. What type of experience is your customer getting from you? What type of, yeah, Brad, you saw that? I do make the best Philly cheesesteak sliders. I'm just saying. All right. But what type of experience are you providing for your customers? when your customer leaves their appointment, how are they talking about you? Did they have a really fun time and an enjoyable experience where they're like sharing that with their friends? Like, dude, you got to meet my Cutco gal. She is awesome. We had fun. We laughed. We had some wine. It was a great time. Plus, somehow she got $2,000 out of my credit card, you know? Or they're just like afterwards, they're like, honey, I'm so glad we didn't recommend him to anybody because it was awful. It was dreadful. It was the most boring presentation of my life. Right. And you got to be honest with yourself. Right. That's the only way we can grow is by being honest with ourselves and our performance. So here's a little task or assignment for you guys. Record your next presentation. Record your next presentation, and this will be the most painful 60 minutes of your life, is watching yourself do a presentation. Yeah. But guess what, Jordan? That's how you get good. All right. Right now, I'm doing golf lessons at like this golf school, and I was there on Tuesday, and literally, it's just me watching myself swing. And every time I would look at the camera, I'm like, damn it, I bent my arm too much right there. Right. Let me like correct that. And then what was really cool though was when I hit a perfect shot, I would get like really excited. I was like, let me go look back at that. All right, let me redo that again. And then I dipped my shoulder too much and I messed it up again. I'm like, damn it. Right. But that's how you like correct yourself and you improve. And just out of 3 weeks of me going to this golf like school, I almost hit a hole in one on the Tuesday. It was so close. But is like the pain of me looking at myself do a terrible sucky golf swing and make terrible contact and not follow any of my coach's instructions. Doing that over and over again, right? You start to learn.
You did birdie.
We'll talk about that. Right. We haven't got the putty yet. All right. So all right. No, but yeah, so record your next appointment and just see how you are when you ask for recommendations. See how you are when you ask for a big size order, right? See how your face does. See what your body language is showing. Are you showing confidence, or are you showing like nerves and weakness, or are you kind of cutting corners or bailing out of certain scenarios? That's going to help you out a lot. So if you're doing an appointment on Zoom, it's easy to record on Zoom. But here's a website that you can use. It's free. It's called loom.com. LOOM. Brad, can you type it out in the chat box for everybody? So loom.com. And you can record without like with Zoom, it lets your customers know that you're recording, and it has that annoying lady that says recording in progress, right? So the Loom one, it doesn't do that. And obviously keep it private. Don't post anybody without their LOOM. All right. It's online, so you can just go to loom.com. You don't have to download anything. You can just do it straight from your browser, and it'll record your presentations. Okay. All right, so that's just the beginning. We haven't even talked about asking for the recommendations yet, but these are just some other checkpoints you need to like look at first before you even get to that point. Now, building great rapport with Carly on the presentation, right? This is where I want to like ask all about Carly and learn all about her, right? What's the weather like in Tennessee, and what is Tennessee barbecue really as good as people say it is, right? Right. And you can kind of start to ask all about that stuff, and just really get to know your customer. And I'm asking about everything, right? And some of you guys that have been working with me, you've heard me say this: ask all about their family, right? Like the whole beginning of the presentation, especially now that I have kids, I'm just only talking about family stuff, right? So like, you guys have kids, right? So I'll be like, oh yeah, how many kids do you have? Oh yeah, I have a 1-year-old, right? And I ask for like parenting tips, right? Or different things like that. And I'm like, oh well, what does your oldest son do for fun? Oh, they play cheer. And then they start or not play cheer, they're part of cheer, right? And they start talking about all the different cheerleading contests and events that they go to. They travel for that. Guess how many people they know? A lot of cheer moms, right? And guess what cheer moms do at cheer practice?
Oh,
They talk, right? They talk about products, they talk about different things, they talk about the cheese may, right? They're just talking, right? So they're just like right there. I'm thinking, ding, ding, ding. I need to get all the cheer parents, right? I need to figure out a way to get all the cheer parents, right? Talk about the family. What are you guys doing for Super Bowl? What do you guys do for Easter? What do you guys do for all that thing? Whose house do you go to? Right. And right there, I'm already bringing up all the recommendations. And then I let my customers know at the beginning of the presentation, hey, my goal today is for you to like me enough to tell all your friends about me. And, you know, we need to bring it up recommendations more throughout the presentation, because at the end, it's kind of like a surprise. Right. So it's like throughout the presentation, I'm very clear on the expectations. I'm like, hey, I'm going to show you about Cutco. Obviously, my goal is for you to get Cutco. It's an amazing product, best product in the history of the universe. And then at the end, I'm going to ask you to recommend me to every single person that you know. So that way we can get Cutco to the world. All right. And I'm just very straightforward about it. Right. So that way they know about it. And that way they can also start thinking about like, oh, who's going to like this set? My cousin barbecues. He's going to love that knife. Right. And then now they start using those recommendations. So it doesn't feel like a surprise. Okay. So that's just like the beginning of the demo. Now let's get to the end. You got to follow the script. I can guarantee 70% of you guys don't even look at the recommendation script by the end of the demo. You want to know how I know? Yeah, I can see your slides.
Yeah.
I can see, oh, this person spent 3 seconds on the recommendation slide. All right. So, or this person spent, 22 seconds on it. And that's not enough time to get recommendations. Right? Like that is the reason why we do the demo, is to get recommendations. If you're doing the demo just to try to sell a piece of Cutco, you're doing it for the wrong reason. Because Cutco sells Cutco. If you do a good demo, you show them all the videos. If you're in person and you just cut a tomato, they're gonna buy Cutco. All right. So I actually don't worry about you guys selling Cutco. I just worry about everybody having enough people to show Cutco too. So the big stores, right? Like one thing I'm learning right now is how to build businesses, other businesses. And the number one thing is just driving traffic into your doors, right? So when you're a Walmart, when you're a Target, whatever your favorite store is, they just want to get enough people to walk into the store because they know the store will take care of itself. Right. So that's what you guys need to focus on with your Cutco business. How do I get more people into my store? Okay. So you got to follow the script. The script provides confidence. Because if you're asking for recommendations without knowing how to ask for recommendation, guess how confident you're going to sound while you're doing that? You're not going to sound confident at all. You're going to sound really weak. Right. Think back to when you were a kid and you would ask mom to buy you something at the store. And if you're like, Mom, can I get this? And you're like, no, why do you want that? And you're like, I don't know. What do they say? Put it back. You're not getting it if you don't have a reason why you want it. But then by the time you get to high school, you're a master at this crap, right? You're like, hey, Mom, I was actually in class and I noticed I was falling a little behind because I didn't have the right tools. This is why I need an iPad, right? And then you kind of go into your whole pitch. And it's like, if I don't get one, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pass all my classes. So can we compromise? They're like, you're not getting an iPad, but we can get you a tablet. All right, done deal, right? So you start getting good with objections and handling those objections and, providing value as you get older with the things that you want. All right. So you got to follow the script because it's going to provide confidence for you and it's going to provide consistency. Right. So by a show of hands, how many of you guys have ever got 10 or more recommendations on an appointment? All right. How many of you guys have got 20 or more? Oh, a lot of hands went down. All right. What about 30 or more? All right. So now it's just only assistant managers with their hands up, right? So, and that's out there. All right. So that's out there for you guys. But how many of you guys have actually asked for 30 recommendations?
30, that's as much as you think.
All right. So now give them a target to go for. Because if you just say as much as you can, they're going to give you 3. They're going to give you 5. They're going to give you 10. And they're like, that's as many as I can. But if you're like, hey, can you get to 30? You get to 40. Right. Or this is why we mentioned in the script, my record is this amount. Right. So it's like my record is 20. Maybe you can break the new record because people like to have, things that they want to shoot for, things that they want to accomplish. Okay. So follow the script. Now, also help your customers out throughout this process. Give them thought joggers. All right. This isn't any like new information, right? I taught you guys this in training, in advanced training, right? But give them thought joggers, and you got to try during this portion. Like, this is the part of the demo where I'm like really trying my best is to get the recommendations, because I know that's the most important part. So I'm giving them thought joggers before they can even give me objections. So I'm like, so Ms. Jones, can you think of however many people? All right, let's start off with your family. Who in your family is just really nice? And then they're like, oh, I know really nice people. Cool, write that person down. Who in your family just likes to eat food?
Hello.
Right, a lot of them, right? So it's just like write those people down. Do you know anybody that likes to shop? Right? Who do you know that is going to have a Super Bowl party this weekend? Right? So I'm just asking all these questions, right? Because and then you notice that they're very broad, where it's like a yes or yes kind of answer. Like, of course, John, I know somebody that likes to eat food. Oh, cool. Put them down. Right? And you're making it easy for your customer. You want to build your customers' confidence while they're giving this. Because when you just say, give me as many as you can, or give me 30 recommendations without any help after that, it sounds hard. It seems like a hard task to do right at this moment. And what do most people do when something's hard? Yeah, they just don't do it, right? Or they come up with an excuse. Oh, sorry, I gotta go right now. I actually don't have enough time. Or you hear that baby screaming over there in the other room. I gotta go to them now, right? All of a sudden, when it's time for recommendations, right? So help them out. Give them these little wins. Hey, can you think of one person from your work that'd be pretty cool about this? Because once they start to write down one, or actually for you guys, look, I'm talking old school. They don't even need to write them down. They just click them on their phone. Once they click one, just like when you watch one TikTok, what's easier to watch another of?
Oh.
Yeah, you start doom scrolling, right? So same thing with the recommendations. You just got to get them going. So that's the key, right? And then you let them know about the sponsorship and all that stuff. Now, if you go through all that and they still have objections, then you just got to handle them, right? And don't be afraid to handle the objections, because when I sell Cutco, I know I'm helping people because they're getting the best product of its type anywhere in the world for half of the price of its competitors. And if you don't believe me, go to Williams Sonoma. Brad, you remember when we went to Victoria Gardens? And I was just like, Brad, you see how much all this stuff costs? Right? And it was like, it opened Brad's eyes, right? We went to Williams Sonoma. I was like, look at it, dude. These are our competitors. We're half the price of them, but better value. Right? So you got to feel good. You got to know that you're providing value to people. And I tell my customers, I was like, only one of three things will happen when you recommend their friend. Like, this is if someone's like really against it, really terrible. I'm like, Miss Jones, you're overthinking it. Like, first I just say, like, Miss Jones, how did I do today? Did I do a bad job or something? They're like, no, Hector, you did great. Oh, okay. Well, do you just hate Cutco? And they're like, no, it's phenomenal. I'm confused. Why don't you want to tell your friends and family about it, right? So it's just, then I ask them, I just tell them, like, hey, one of three things will happen, Carly. One, you recommend a friend, I call them, and they're not interested. They get removed off my list forever. I never bug them again. Two, I call them. They're down. Oh, you see those little effects right there? See the balloons? You like that, Jordan, huh? All right. So I call them and they say yes, we do a demo, and they don't buy anything. All right, no worries. I'm still happy because I get the credit and I get the experience and it helps me out a ton. Right? Also thinking those people will probably give you more recommendations too. Right? So it's always a win for you. The third thing that happens is they buy something, or they do a demo with me, they buy something, and then now they're thanking you, Brad Williams, for referring them to the best product ever. So who do you think would just be nice enough to take a look? Let's start with family, and then I just kind of go into the thought joggers. All right. And then here's the other thing. Ask again. Don't be afraid to ask again. All right. And then here's my drop down if they're just like so anti recommendations. I'm like, all right, Mrs. Jones, do you have a Facebook? Because I have a really big goal that I'm working towards. And my number one goal is just to get the word out to as many people as humanly possible. can we add each other as friends on Facebook? And then can you tag me and just give me a shout out? Say this awesome, good looking, young college. No, I'm just kidding. Right. So, and you have fun with it, right? Just have fun with it. But it's like, yeah, can you give me a shout out that this college kid or that this awesome person came and showed you this phenomenal product called Cutco? If anyone's open to helping out, he gets paid just to show it. I can send you a template. All you got to do is copy and paste it. All right. And then a lot of customers would be like, yeah, you know what, John, I can do that for you. You can do a good job. You did a good job today. And that still helps out a ton. So that's like my last drop down after trying for the recommendations. Now, some other little tips you can do to get more referrals is give them an incentive too. Because people like incentives. Right. So you can throw some free stuff onto their order, like a veggie peeler or cutting board or something like that. Just call me and you can see what you can do. You guys can also buy discounted Cutco from me. You can buy a discounted veggie peeler from me. You can also buy those little sample knives that I've shown you guys before as well. And then also on your Vector Connect, you actually have a section called My Samples where you can buy certain samples at a crazy discount just one time. So like, for example, you can get like an ice cream scooper for like $10 or something like that on there, maybe 12. And you can buy that and you can just do a raffle. What a lot of people do is like anytime a customer gives me, becomes a sponsor, they give me 10 or 20, they get entries into a raffle for a free piece of Cutco of the month. So maybe you buy a veggie peeler, maybe you buy a ice cream scooper and that's worth it, right? Imagine 10, 20, 30 people give you 10 or 20 recommendations. That's totally worth a $10 item, right? So that's another way to kind of think about it. Okay. Now here's some other avenues that we can use to get some recommendations. And Brad, can you write these down in the chat box? Because I'm gonna go quick through them. So one is an app called Nextdoor. It's an app called Nextdoor. And Brent was really good with this when he was a representative. Ayla on our team, one of the assistant managers, she's had some success with this. But basically you register for Nextdoor and it has all your local neighbors on there that and if they like have an account on there, you can message them and you can post to the community within like a certain mile radius. You do have to put in your address and like register your address. You can't just say like, oh, I'm gonna go to the mansion houses and say I live in no, right? It's just like it has to be in your like kind of local area. And you can post about it, right? That you and I have a post that I can share with you guys, right? So that's one way to get more customers. Brent, should I teach them the creepy way that we learned? All right, I'll give you guys. No. It's not an iPhone thing. All right, so the other way is Facebook. All right, yeah, that's creepy, right? Too, right? Make sure you keep your airdrops locked, people. All right, but another one is Facebook. All right, so like Brad said right here, it's Mac City. All right, that's where you're gonna find a lot of your Macs. Some of you guys haven't even played around with Facebook yet. That is a wormhole for success, but it takes consistency to do that. What's the other one I'm trying to think of right now?
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Well, yeah, just social medias in general, but there's one more. All right, but here's the other one. All right, here's the other one that's a little creepy, but it's public knowledge. Are you guys ready for this one? So don't abuse it either. All right. Don't abuse it. All right. So it's called truepeoplesearch.com. All right. So truepeoplesearch.com. So this is what you would use for people that you know, but you don't have their numbers or you don't know how to get their numbers. All right. So by the way, all your information is out there, everybody. No matter how private you think you are, everything's out there. Yeah, it's gonna creep you out. All right. I'm just telling you the disclaimer right now. It's gonna creep you out, right? You're gonna find yourself and you're like, whoa, that's me, that's my mom, that's my family, that's my dog. Okay, that's weird. right? So but yeah, you can thank you, Brad. Right, that Brad put don't abuse. Okay. But yeah, so that's like if you can't find someone's number, you can just literally look it up right there, and there you go. All right. But the point I'm trying to make here is like there's endless amount of resources that you guys can use, right? Endless amount of resources. I've never had anybody run out of people to see. I've just only have had people that ran out of people that they feel comfortable reaching out to, right? So but those are the big three ones that or the big two ones I would focus on is, Facebook, and then no, not True People Search, right? But Facebook and Nextdoor, right? Those are really, really great ones to use as resources. Okay. And then if you want to get more in depth with this, Corey, where you're like, all right, I really want to like build up my names list even more, like you want to schedule some one-on-one time, right? Like I don't have enough time to like really like we can get really deep for everyone's situation, but schedule some one-on-one time with your manager. All right. Schedule some one-on-one time with your manager. Now, once you guys have all these names and numbers and all that great stuff, you got to remember, you got to still keep following the basics and mastering that. So first get good at getting more recommendations. Because if you keep not getting good at it, you're going to keep finding yourself back in the same spot. I can keep giving you resources and helping you, but if you're not like memorizing your approach and making the right changes, you're still going to fall back into the same area. You can find a temporary fix, but then you're going to get temporary results. Now, when you're scheduling these appointments, these are the last couple tips I'm going to give you guys, and I'll let you guys out of here. This is how you prevent some reschedules. So I know there's some people that have been scheduling appointments, but then they reschedule or they cancel or whatever the case may be. So the first one is making sure you firm up the appointment. All right. So don't just sometimes we rush off of the phone call because we don't like making phone calls, or we just want to get off of it or get to the next one. But make sure your customer actually looks at their schedule. Make sure that they actually write it down and then confirm, are you sure that time works? And I let them know, like I count on every single appointment. So I just want to make sure you can just tell them, I just want to make sure you don't cancel or flake on me on the last second, because that really messes up my whole day of appointments. So firming up, the firm up in the script is really good, but just make sure you take your time doing it. Don't schedule past 3 days. This one hurts a lot of people. Right? Don't schedule past 3 days. And honestly, I would even say try not to schedule past 2 days. The sooner that the tighter that window is, the better. Right? You're gonna have people tell you that they're busy all weekend. They're not really busy all weekend. They're just busy on Sunday for the Super Bowl. Right? And they might need to go do a grocery store run. Right? But it's like they're not busy, right? So try to lock them in. And then here's the big nugget I want to give you guys is alley-oop appointments. All right, we call them an alley-oop. So basically, let's say you're in the middle of an appointment right now, and then you're asking for recommendations. And then here, as a representative, here's how my mind works, Money Mo, is I like to work smarter, not harder. So I was like, you want to know what? I don't like making phone calls. Let me get my customers to make my phone calls for me. Like I'm already here with her, right? So I'm like, hey, Ms. Jones, can you do me one more huge favor? Can you actually help me get in touch with your top 2 people? Because who's more likely to answer their call? Their best friend or some random phone call? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, right. No, for sure, no doubt. Right. So that will have a little of an effect, right? So it's like, hey, Mrs. Jones, can you help me get in touch with your best friend right now? You think what's she up to? And then she'll call her right then and there, like, hey girl, how you doing? Right. And then sometimes like if she's messing up like what I want her to say, I'm just like, hand me the phone. Right. And then I'll just schedule the appointment right then and there. And then even sometimes I'm just like, hey, are you free now? And then I'll be like, are you free now? You want to come with me to your friend's house? Right? Because when I started the job, I didn't have a car and we didn't have any virtual stuff. So I would get dropped off on appointments or walk to appointments. And I'm like, hey, do you think you can just take me to your friend's house? And then it's like, if they buy something, I'll give you a peeler. right? So I got very creative with the job, right? And you'd be surprised how many people say yes. That's the point I'm trying to make. Is like you never know. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
You know a lot of people.
No, I didn't know a lot of people. You know, like
That's where I think.
and I lost my leads book like 3 times as a representative. So I had to start from scratch over and over 3 times. You just gotta be creative and ask, right? Brent, you remember we used to do the scavenger hunts?
Yeah,
So we used to do a scavenger hunt. Maybe we'll have to bring these back. And I was like, go set up an appointment with a random stranger. And somebody set up with an appointment with a random stranger at a taco shop and sold a homemaker to them.
So you can, it's like a weird option.
Yeah, champions find a way. All right. So like I'm always gonna tell you the best way to do it first. I'm not saying just go run around the streets and try to sell people homemakers. That's crazy, right? Yeah, no, don't do anything. Don't do that, right? I'm always gonna teach you guys the best way to do things, but get creative, right? So I just try to hop from appointment to appointment. Like some days, right? I don't recommend doing this, but some days I was at 0 for the week on a Monday, and I'll be like, hey, do one appointment on Monday and like, hey, help me get in touch with one of your friends. I'll go over to them next, go over to them next, go over to them next, and end up doing 4 appointments on a Monday, you know, selling $1,000 or $2,000. So work smarter, not harder too. Right? Like if you're there with the friend, have them get in touch with their friends and just book the appointments right then and there. Cool. So it all comes back to the beginning where I said connection. Right. The deeper you can build that connection, the more you can ask. Right. The more comfortable you feel asking, at least. Right. And you know, the more they know you, the more they're gonna want to help you. Plain and simple. All right. So hopefully those tips helped out a little bit. And by the way, when you schedule somebody for like an hour from now, guess what they don't do? They don't forget. Yeah, they don't cancel. They're like, all right, cool. I got this kid coming over. All right. So hopefully those tips helped you guys out a little bit right there. I'll have a little part 2 follow up posted in the chat with you guys. So we have some videos that you guys can watch, but you got to actually watch them and like learn them and then work on mastering the basics. All right. But thank you guys for being here tonight. Let's just hit our goals this week. All right. So like try to get as much done before the Super Bowl. So that way you can sit there and relax and enjoy the Super Bowl party and then finish the week strong on Mondays. All right. That's the last day to impact your paychecks. All right. Other than that, adios. Thank you guys for being here. Let your managers know if you need anything. Have a good night. Peace.
I have a question.
No questions for Brad Williams. What's up, Brad?
Well, I was curious, like, what is up with your Zoom? But like when you did a thumbs up, it should have thumbs up.
Oh, I got a new laptop.
Yeah. Is that something that really happened?
It also does this. Look at this.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why. I haven't played with my Zoom settings, but
Okay, I was just curious about
I just
that.
started. Yeah, and I just found out because like we're on a Zoom call, and I did the heart to somebody, and then like we're all like, "Whoa, what just happened?" It was pretty cool. And then I guess I'm very handsy when I talk, so I don't even know. Like I was like, "All right, what happens if I do this peace sign?" And then, or I was teaching actually at advanced training. I was like 2, and then I was like, "All right, everyone's thumbs up." What other hand gestures can you do? The only one I'm thinking of is middle finger.
Oh boy.
What happens if I do it? All right, nothing happens. It's censored. All right. That wasn't towards anybody. All right. Oh, I'm still recording, man. Every time.